You have been using Google wrong your entire life, or at least not taking full advantage of it. Many of you already know about the special search commands or operators they're called, like for searching within a specific website or for a certain file type. But turns out that there are some legitimately hidden search operators that even I didn't know about until making this video. For example, this around operator, which is not officially documented anywhere, that searches for content where the left and right terms are found within a certain number of words from each other. And I'll explain more of the details of that one later, but you get the idea. There's a lot of cool ones. Now, like I said, there doesn't seem to be any official list or support article with all the operators, though there are scattered support pages and official blog posts that mention some of them. However, there is this list, which was created by a senior research scientist at Google named Dan Russell during his time working there. So this is probably the closest to an official list we can get. I'll put a link to it in the description, and you can also get to it with this short link, bit.ly/all-the-operators. Before we get to those, I want to quickly make sure you at least know about the user interface options in Google, which you can access by clicking the Tools button. The time range option is self-explanatory but incredibly useful, as well as the advanced search link, which takes you to this page. Some of the filters here can only be used from the advanced search page, like searching by language or usage rights, so it's good to know about. Then there's this all results dropdown, which lets you change the results to verbatim mode, which is really important to know. To understand this one, you have to realize that Google will usually manipulate your searches using synonyms of words and might not count certain words it doesn't consider important to the query. And you can tell this because it will usually bold the words in the results that it considers a match to your search. But if I search something like this very specific model for DDR5 RAM, you can see only the first result returns pages for that exact model SKU. In the rest of the results, they are not that model that I searched for, or are totally different products altogether. And you can see here, it even bolded a totally different, non-matching, but similar model number. But if I'm searching for something that specific, I want it to match exactly. But when I switch it to verbatim mode, all the results do include that exact model number. So basically, it just makes sure to match terms exactly without synonyms. Now, I've found the verbatim mode may occasionally include other results in the case of typos specifically. Like this admittedly stupid example says, Big Chungus and YOLO swag with no spaces within each. And it says, did you mean this with spaces? And the results do show it as if it added the spaces. So to force it to be absolutely literal for each word, you have to put quotes around each of them. So the quotes are not only good for searching exact phrases with multiple words, but also to force it to search a specific spelling. And also, fun fact, it turns out you can actually use quotes around a word within a longer quoted string. So say you search for, quote, a misspelled word, and misspelled is actually misspelled there. It changes the query and shows results for the true correct spelling, not what you put. And while you could click the search instead for button, which will use your exact string, you can also put quotes around the inner word, misspelled, and it will get you the same exact results using what you literally put. And also another thing about quotes, if you want to ensure that Google includes results only that have all of the search terms, you can put those in quotes, even if it's a single word, and then it will always include all the things that have quotes around them. Now, before we continue to more search operators, something you shouldn't have to search for is good security, which is where today's sponsor comes in, Bitdefender. In addition to their award-winning antivirus products, they have a new scam protection platform called Scam Copilot, which offers real-time protection and alerts across all your devices to safeguard interactions from emails and SMS to chat apps and web browsing. A major feature is the Scam Copilot chatbot, a specialized AI chatbot that helps you identify suspicious online interactions. Scammers are constantly trying to create new ways to trick people, making it virtually impossible to stay up to date on all the latest scam techniques and variations yourself. But Scam Copilot can help you identify whether something resembles a known scam. For example, if a website looks suspicious or you think an online seller is trying to scam you, just give the chatbot info about what's going on and it can analyze the situation. You can show it text messages, links, QR codes, even images and screenshots. It gives clear verdicts, and you can ask it for more information so you can learn about how the scams operate. The Scam Copilot platform also includes several other features like scam wave alerts for recent scam outbreaks, email monitoring, SMS protection for both Android and iOS, and online scam protection for web browsing. It's available in Bitdefender Premium Security, Ultimate Security Plans, and Ultimate Small Business Security. So be sure to check out the link in the description where you can learn more about Bitdefender's security products and their Scam Copilot features. And with all that being said, let's continue on to more of the search operators. Two more of the basic operators before we get to the more advanced ones are the asterisk and minus sign. You might already be familiar with these. The asterisk simply acts like wildcard, but what I didn't know is apparently it will replace only up to 5 words or terms, where a term is a word or combo of words that are not separated by a space. So a hyphenated set of words would count as one. Otherwise, it behaves just like you'd expect. The minus sign ensures that results do not include the term that you put the minus sign before, and make sure there's no space before it. This can be used to exclude individual words, entire quoted phrases, and can even be used as an inverse for other operators, like this would exclude results from the domain google.com. All right, so now on to some of the more advanced ones you might not know about or not much about. First is the OR operator. This has to be typed as all caps and goes between two search terms, either words or quoted phrases, but you can chain them together with multiple OR operators. And this is subtly different than how the default search works. By default, Google will prefer results that have all the terms in it and prefers the same word order that you searched. So if I searched physics memes, it returns results for memes about physics. But if I do physics or memes, it has results that are simply about physics or memes, not physics memes, although it does apparently include that too. So I don't think there's a way to do mutually exclusive. You would have to just use 2 separate searches for that. You can use the OR operator within phrases too, like you can do physics or chemistry memes, and it will return results for memes that are about either physics or chemistry. Next, let's talk about that around operator that I mentioned at the beginning. This must be written in all caps followed by a space and then a number, and it goes between terms, sort of like the OR operator. With this, Google will return results where the left and right terms are found within a distance of however many words you put as that number, and the word order of the terms does not matter. So maybe you want to find pages where a specific person was talking about a certain subject, like John Carmack talking about ARM processors. You could do John Carmack around 20 ARM processor, where it's going to look for those 2 phrases within about 20 words of each other, which might get better results than if you were to just search the terms by themselves and those terms exist anywhere on the same page in general. And actually, it seems to be a decent result. It seems to me that the number that you put specifically means the max number of terms between your specified terms. So around 0 would apparently mean that the words are right next to each other. But again, order doesn't matter. As a side note about this one, I've seen websites show this operator being used with parentheses, which also will work, but is not actually necessary since Google completely ignores parentheses. So either way apparently works. Next up, here's an interesting one, which is how to do number ranges. You type 2 numbers and then put 2 periods between them, no spaces. So say for some reason I needed to search for several iPhone versions at once, like iPhone 20 through iPhone 25. I could simply search this, and I'll be sure to put quotes around it all, so it searches it as full phrases. And through the magic of already trying this, I know that you'll also need to enable verbatim mode for good results. And as you can see, the results are indeed pages mentioning the iPhone 20 all the way up to the iPhone 25, just like we hoped. Oh, and it turns out you can also use the number ranges operator for dollar amounts. So this will return results mentioning the phrase a X price tag, where X is in the range of $1,000 to $5,000. You can sort of do the same thing with percentages, but I found that you have to do it like this with the regular number range and then a space before the percentage sign. Next, there are a bunch of ways to specify exactly where you want to search on web pages using these operators: intext, intitle, inurl, and inanchor. And there are all-in versions of each of those too, which I'll mention later. With these, you put the operator and a colon, and then the word or quoted phrase with no spaces between them. Intitle searches only the title of the page, which is what appears in the browser bar, but not necessarily the page itself. Intext is the opposite. It's what you would see in the actual text part of the page, so this is pretty close to what normally gets searched anyway. Inurl can be really useful. It makes that particular term only match if it's in the URL itself, regardless of the rest of the page, which I actually find more useful to use as a negative to exclude things. For example, when I was searching Google support articles, I searched for site support.google.com, but didn't want to include the Google help forums, just the articles. So I used a minus sign and the inurl operator to exclude any results that have thread in the URL, which all the forum URLs do. And that got what I wanted. For the inanchor operator, I wasn't familiar with anchors myself, but apparently that's for websites that have specific parts of the page that you can link to, like subheadings on a Wikipedia article, for example, where you can copy a direct link. This heading thing is called anchor, and then it would only search for text in part of those major headings, if you happen to know that what you're looking for would be in one of those. For the all-in versions of all of these, apparently you would put these in the beginning of the search box, and then this would basically be like the same as putting the individual version in front of each term separately, but otherwise they do the same thing. Now, I've mentioned the site operator a lot, but there are some nuances for it. You can just do normal domains and subdomains like we saw, but you can also just put a top-level domain extension like gov, and it will only return .gov domains, for example. You can also use asterisk wildcards for entire subdomain components between periods. And you can use the minus sign to exclude certain subdomains while using another second site operator for the rest of the main domain. Moving on, there's the very useful Filetype Operator, which can really come in handy if you're searching for a document or just a certain type of file in general. You just put the file extension of the file, and it will only include results for those files, presumably in either the contents or the title, assuming it's a file type that can be indexed and uses text. You can also use the ext operator, short for extension, which is apparently the exact same thing. A couple caveats here are that this operator will not work for most sound files like MP3, and also it seems other files like WAV, M4A, and those don't work, apparently for copyright reasons. And also, it won't show results for CSV files. I assume probably because so much raw data is stored in spreadsheets, it would clutter up the index. But Google does have a page for searching data sets you can use for that instead. So now that you know all this, I officially declare you a master of Google Foo. You can put it on your resume and everything. And you now have legal permission to leave a comment saying, I'm an elite Google Foo master who watched till the end of the video to make all the low attention span people jealous. Thanks again to Bitdefender for sponsoring. Be sure to check out their new scam protection platform called Scam Copilot. You can learn more through the link in the description. Now, if you want to keep watching, next up, I'd recommend a video where I talked about a bunch of new scams to watch out for, and I'll put that link right here if you want to click on that. Be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.